Welcome back to our series on math functions. Today we're going to cover a fairly straightforward function, which is the product function. Now many of you may recall the sum function. If not, feel free to check out our video on sum. Now what the sum does, as a quick refresher, is it will add up all the numbers in your argument or in the data range that you have selected. The product does the same thing, with the only exception of multiplying the numbers rather than adding them up. So how does the product function work? It works in two ways. The first way is we can take the product name with an open paren and start inserting all the numbers for which you want multiplied. So in this case, 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 is equal to 1 times 2 is 2, times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24, times 5 is 120, and that should equal 120, which it does. So this first method of calculating the product is just okay, and the reason I say that is there is a limit of the number of arguments you can put in, so you can only multiply up to 30 numbers at a time. And the second reason I'm not a big fan of this method is it's not as transferable of a formula. And what I mean by that is if you were to copy this function and paste it elsewhere, doing that has very little value because it will definitely yield the same result. All these are hard-coded in. Okay, so there is a better way of using the product function. So I'll show you an example. Let's say we have in column A a list of various numbers, and your goal is to calculate the product of those values. Okay, so you'll notice we start here and we end down here and we have more than 30 numbers. So if we were to do this method of typing in every individual number, it wouldn't work. So what we can do instead, let's give ourselves a little space here, is we can use the product function not to type in the arguments or the numbers, but we can highlight the cells that will reference our data set. This is our data set right here. And what we should expect is a very large number. Multiplying all these numbers will give you a huge number. So one, this method allows you to calculate more than 30, the product of more than 30 numbers. And second, it is much more functional. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have another set of random numbers in column B. Rather than type individual numbers out, you can simply copy this formula, edit, copy, or Control-C on your keyboard, and paste. Now, we are going to paste everything because we want the formula, and we also want the formatting to be the same, so we can simply paste all. And you will notice when you look at the formula that it correctly references the numbers that we want referenced. Okay, so I would encourage you to do method 2 whenever you're using the product function. Reference the cells. It will allow you more flexibility by allowing you to multiply more than 30 numbers, and B, it's a much more transferable, functional formula. Okay, I'll see you next time.